Hey, I'm back. We're gonna do episode 8, part 2 because my mic cut off. So we're gonna pick up right at Florida State versus Alabama, 31-17. So this, like I said before, so this is what we're gonna do. Since we on here now, hopefully it won't cut out this time. So it's Florida State 31, Alabama 17. Um, the takeaway for the winners of the game is that Florida State quarterback Thomas Cassiano had huge moments and a Heisman buzz for the starter. Uh, he played a real good game, and I think, like I said, in the trenches, Florida State punched Alabama in the mouth. Um, they just annihilate them. They just roughed them up from the beginning to the end, defensively and offensively. Uh, the offensive coordinator they got from Gene he did a masterful job for his first game as offensive coordinator. He did what he needed to do to establish what they're going to do in the game. They made sure Alabama ran side to side, basically. Make sure we're going to attack them with our speed. That's like Florida State back in the day, like the like the 90s and the 2000s up to now. It's based on speed. So they trying their best to keep them going sideline to sideline. And the takeaway for Alabama for the loser side is that they got beat in the trenches. The court, Ty Simpson looked kind of shaky. They ain't use Ryan Williams like they supposed to. That's another thing. They ain't pose no threat for him to do anything they need to do, and so they can stand out a little bit more. But I was a little disappointed in Alabama for them. But my takeaway for that game is to be honest with you, more like, I won't say Florida State back. That's my favorite team in college football. They not back. Alabama has to figure out a way to make sure to be better in the next couple of games, because I know they got a cupcake game, so they got to stand on business mainly for the rest of the season. So Caleb LeBoy got to get these guys straightened out for the rest of the season. The next game, I would say the game that I did watch. I don't know I did Ohio State yet, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to Miami and Notre Dame. I think Miami 27-24. Miami take the victory in Hard Rock. The winner the moment I'll take from the game from Miami side, since they the winner, is they established Miami is the order Miami take off. They got to ride Carson Beck's back and make the offense be high powered like they was with Cam Ward, and to make sure that defense stands up on business. So, like I said, they had their first start because Notre Dame had their first time starter, C.J. Carr, and he did pretty well. I think he should. They a little bit different from last year's team because they was on defense, and Riley Leonard was good. Man, they had good defensive back. So it's going to take some time for the offense and defense to gel. But to me personally about Notre Dame is they can't to me, they can't lose more than 2 or 3 games to be out the playoffs. So I won't say they'd be behind the 8 ball, but they has to do better. Marcus Freeman got to figure out a way to win a couple of games. They don't need no slippers like they did last year against New Orleans, Illinois, nothing like that. They can't play far ahead. But I think C.J. Carter's gonna be fine. They need to find a way to get Jeremiah Love into the game more head first into the game and make sure he's involved. And my takeaways from them is Notre Dame missed their chance late, which is true, they did, but the outcome of the game is the Canes proved they can grind out wins, and Notre Dame is they already behind the 8 ball. And that's what I took away from this game too. Another thing, they took. Let's see. I'm gonna go with. I'm not too sure. I said this on the first half of it, so I'm gonna go back and do South. I'm gonna go South Carolina, Virginia Tech. 24-11, South Carolina wins. My outcome watching that game was Lenore Sellers. He's great. They defense, they lived up to expectation. Drones and the Virginia Tech got to figure out what they're going to do offensively to make them more dynamic. And they can't, in defense, they couldn't stop whatever Sellers doing out there. So, here's the thing. South Carolina has to be they're going to be a top 5 team. They keep playing like this against Virginia Tech in a neutral site game. They keep playing like this. They're going to be a top 5 team in the SEC. And they could get a playoff spot. But like I said, to my knowledge, in my mind, that Noah Searles has to stay off the injury report. Don't get banged up. Don't use him too much in the run game, and make sure he completes passes, playing within the game, and that defensive beamer ball special teams will show up for them to order to get them to the playoffs of the SEC championship game. That was going to make South Carolina great too good to great this season. Virginia Tech, the issue is the offense is stagnant. They stuck in neutral right now. Drones is probably like he got to be like a top 10-ish quarterback in the ACC. But he haven't showed that lately. But the problem is with Virginia Tech is they got to find some playmakers and be dynamic. And the defense has to stand up against good offensive teams, and not they going to lay on their back, flat on their back, and they're going to be done. So they just have to get better because they play Vandy this weekend. So Vandy, to me, Virginia Tech should have beat Vanderbilt in Nashville, but it didn't happen because I think Drone was out the game. And they, like I said, they should have took that game. So this time around, hopefully they come back to Blacksboro and do what they need to do. But my takeaways for this storyline to me for this game is South Carolina shows they belong top 15 in the country. And while Virginia Tech didn't look like a program that's stuck in neutral right now, which is true, they is stuck in neutral right now. So they gotta do what they gotta do to get in stick control and stay out of it as much as they can. Hold on right quick. I might take a hold up. Hello, anybody there? But I'm still recording. Just make sure it's still recording. And now we're going to just have to go on a different microphone. So we're going to do this probably call this mic. Hold on. Oh, it's still working. But anyway, back to the other thing about it. I'm just going to keep my eye on it. Well, another thing about it is that got another game I watched this weekend, the TCU and North Carolina Tar Heels. That Bill Belichick debut did not turn out so great for me. TCU did what they need to do. They like I said, the debut was a Bill Belichick start off pretty fast. They scored the first points in the game. Ever since then, that was it. They capoose. So TCU made sure what happened maybe 2 years ago with Deion came to TCU and they beat them. They ain't gonna allow that to happen with another pro icon, should I say, with Bill Belichick. So they did what they needed to do. They ran the football. They scored points. They got pick sixes. They did all that to put Bill Belichick out of his misery. So to this standpoint of, hey, Bill Belichick got a long way to go and up to this in his college football matrix right now. So he got to do what he got to do to make the team better. But here's my issue with Bill Belichick. They can't stop the run right now. Their defense ain't that great. And they got to fix the quarterback issue. I don't know what Geno did, Geno Lopez, when he went to Alabama. When he was at South Alabama, he was great. The problem, the issue is, he plays another bad game like this. They got to call Max Johnson in. And Max Johnson is a former Texas A&M guy. So he's Brad Johnson's pedigree, so that's his son. So I'm surprised he picked him over him, because Geno, I don't know what he saw in Geno. So, but at the end of the day, that's what he stands by. Another thing about it is, he, like I said, I looked at North Carolina's schedule. And I was looking at it because I'm in this fantasy league I'm in, and I think they should do is their schedule is pretty easy. Like I said, their next two games are cupcake games, so they should leave by both teams. They should beat them by three touchdowns apiece. And not Bill Belichick got issues. He got some real life issues in Chapel Hill. So, end of the day is, when I took away from this game, it's simple as this. And what I saw, this is a reality check game for Bill Belichick. And TCU is a dark horse right now. And North Carolina can make that uphill battle to get to the top. If not, it's going to be a wrap. It is going to be a wrap. So that's the way I took from it. Another thing about it, the next game, I would say, I think we did all the games. So I'm gonna tell you the next thing we're gonna do. So the next thing we're gonna talk about my power rankings. And now I'm going to tell you about my power rankings. My power rankings should look like this. No, not my power rankings. I'm going to tell you the next. The top games you can't. Well, I'm going to watch this weekend. So, like for instance, let me give you a couple of games I'm going to watch this week. So, a 15-ranked Michigan at Oklahoma. That's going to be a very good game. It's a night game. I think it's at 7:30. The storyline to me is going to be what John Mateer is going to do and what Bryson Underwood is going to do. Is Michigan, what's they going to do offensively against Oklahoma? If Bryce Underwood put up 20 points against Oklahoma Sooners, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be an A++ for them, and it's gonna make the Blue House, the Michigan fans feel more on a path of trajectory up, cause they be like, man, we finally got a quarterback. He's a freshman. He went to Norman, Oklahoma, beat them by a field goal, and he went a realistic stat. I would say he went 13 out of 26, went 180, had a touchdown, and maybe a run touchdown. And Justin Hayes went for a buck, maybe 100. He might went close. He can't get no more between 75 to 100 yards with 20 some carries. So that's what I'm thinking. For John Mateer and them, this is a statement game for them in order to be in the SEC playoffs, in the playoffs in the SEC division, conference, should I say. If John Mateer and them do not beat Michigan, what a freshman quarterback. Oklahoma's gonna be raising hell. All sorts of hate, all sorts of saying in that bitch. I ain't gonna lie to you. But end of the day, Brett Venables has to stop this freshman one way or another to order to make sure that they got everything going for them. So they got to stay down to the point that they got to make sure that he don't get to, make sure they stay within the range. And like I said, it's a must-win situation for them and not, because I'm pretty sure Moore ain't coaching this weekend. So I think it's part of one of the suspension games. So I'm pretty sure the way I look at it right now, if Brett Venables don't get this ring, it's going to be a cause of uproar over him. Another game I would say, we just talked about earlier, Vanderbilt versus Virginia Tech. Both teams have to desperately prove they got to build momentum, because V-Tech have to figure out what they did wrong against South Carolina and how they gonna bounce back from losing in a neutral site game. Because like I said, the offense is in a rut right now. It's in the very, 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 very. They in a neutral. They in neutral stick right now. They can't go nowhere. They just in the mud spinning their tires. That's all they doing right now. So that's what they gonna have to. Both these teams have to build momentum. But at the end of the day, this is gonna be more on Virginia Tech side of things, because if Virginia Tech wins, they stays in they as our conference win, and plus it keeps them up in the ACC things in the conference, and so the order to stay with them. Another game to look at, SMU 17 ranked and SMU versus Baylor. This is gonna be a big one. They renew a rivalry after nearly a decade. So SMU is ranked favorite. You know, Baylor, it look forward to bounce back. But the storyline to me is SMU is real. It's going to be a real team. It's going to be a real team to make an impact in the ACC this year. If they're going to be in top 5, I know they're going to get more. They're going to be a bowl team. I can tell you that right now. And if Baylor is a team, it's Baylor, the team that's going to cause records in the Big 12. So that's the storyline of that too. 11 ranked Illinois versus going to Duke. That's going to be a big game for Duke. It's going to be a very big game for Duke and a very big game for Illinois. since Illinois got high expectations going to the season, they could be a big, let's see, a big outsider for the playoff, because they get in, they could cause havoc. They could get one of their at large bids. Uh, They concern is can they keep up with the hype, being a top 25 team conversation. Um, the storyline is for me is can Illinois handle the road expectations of being, being a team that's being looked at, the one that's going to be hunted in an away game, because Duke ain't playing around. Duke got that quarterback for Tulane, and he balled out against. I think they playing some university in North Carolina too. I can't remember their name. Start with Elon. He balled out against I think he got over 300 yards passing. That's their own main objective. They got to stop him, and not Duke got to stop their quarterback too. But which quarterback plays good, that's going to win. That's going to win the game. It's plain simple. And Duke is up it's +2 in the bettor's odds. That line might. I won't be surprised to be +1, or it's going to be a pick 'em by the time it's over with. I think the next game I would say, the next game I would say on my list, I think that's it. That's all the games. You got, like I said, Michigan to Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech, SMU met Baylor, and Illinois versus Duke. So that's going to be my 4 games I'm going to watch this weekend. Other than that, I mean, that's my takeaways from week 0 and week 1. Pay attention to my TikTok. I'm going to have like winners or losers, in my opinion, what happened during that week. Right now, we're going to do top 20 power rankings real quick. We're going to make sure we're going to knock that out real quick. Okay. My power rankings. I got Ohio State number 1 on my list. Number 2, LSU, Penn State. Number 3, Miami and Florida is number 4. Georgia's 5. 6 is Oregon. 7 is Texas. 8 is Clemson. 9 is Notre Dame. 10 is South Carolina. 11 is Arizona State. Illinois is 12. 13 is Florida. 14 is Michigan. 15, Florida State. Iowa State 16. SMU 17. 18, Tennessee. And 19, Oklahoma. And Utah is 20. I'm gonna tell you about 2 teams. Tennessee and Utah. Let me tell you why I put those 2 teams there. Tennessee, Tennessee, they ain't gonna miss Nico. They ain't gonna miss how Aguilar played. If Aguilar played like he played against Syracuse and throwing that deep ball and make that offense run rapid at a fast pace, Tennessee's gonna be hard to beat. If they keep the momentum on the offensive side of the ball like they did against Syracuse, they're gonna be hard to beat. But that offense on the very shoot, whatever they call it, that offense predicated on timing and it's like a real oil machine. You gotta keep that going. Once they get the first down, they're gonna keep that. They're gonna keep the motor running. So you gotta stop. They gotta keep it stopped. So for them, Like I said, their defense is okay. They good. They not as good as last year, but at the same time, their offense gonna be fast paced. They're gonna be whipping and running. So they keep that offense going. They're gonna be tough to beat. Uh, Utah. Utah with Devin Dampier and their offensive coordinator in Utah, they are a totally different team. Dampier give them another dimension that Karen Rising, I won't say didn't have, but they probably had the same face, but I think Dampier got a different style. Because I think Dampier got to be, I think he about 6'2", maybe 6'1", somewhere like that, but he bring a different dynamic. So he went to UCLA. Utah went on to UCLA and just beat the hell out of him. Take that. And I won't be shocked Utah be the first. I'll put it like that. I won't be shocked Utah be Big 12. You will see them in Dallas. I should put it like that. I won't be surprised they be in Dallas. I would like to see Arizona State versus Utah. That's gonna be fun. Or any other team, cause they're gonna be dangerous. Cause Devin Dampier gonna put him in a lot of games. They gonna put him in games pretty much. Like last year, they ain't had no quarterback. They got a quarterback. It's just plain and simple. That's all I can tell you. I'm gonna go to NFL, make my predictions real quick. Here we go. Here's my prediction in the NFL. And we're gonna start in the AFC. AFC South. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the division at 11-6. The past 2 weeks, I did some thinking about. I ain't changed nothing really, so I'll put it like this: Atlanta losing a white tackle. That's gonna be a founding foundation for me. What they're gonna do? Well, week 1 would tell me everything. The first 3 weeks tell me everything. Because week 1 is gonna be more like a preseason game for the starters, so it's gonna look real nasty out there. So I won't be surprised who's cooking and who's not cooking on the offensive ball. But Atlanta Falcons, if they right tackle is gonna be an issue. Because I think they got nobody there. Now, I just heard the other day. I heard this morning they cleared up $6 million. So I think they took some money out of Mooney's contract a little bit, and I think they got $6 million in hand. So they can probably fix the interior a little bit if they can. But like I said, if the offensive right tackle is going to be an issue, I can see them not being 10-7. I can see them either playing 500 ball or they're not going to be in the playoffs. I won't be surprised that the Carolina Panthers be a little bit better than it was last year. So they might be in the second place too. But the AFC North, I got Detroit at 12-5. I got them as a playoff team. They win in their division. And Minnesota, Green Bay, Minnesota, and Chicago Bears, they're going to remind me, this is going to remind me of the NFC West. Those 3 teams, they're going to interchange a lot. Depending on the issue with the Lions, they lost their coordinators. I think they're going to be fine. The issue with Minnesota is they're going to put all this work on J.J. McCarthy. And plus on top of that, is the defense is going to still be on lock. The issue, like I said, the issue is going to be the rookie quarterback. This is like his first NFL start. JJ got to prove a lot, and it's going to be on his show this year. Green Bay just got Michael Parsons in the deal with Kenny Clark in a couple when traded away a couple first rounds. The issue with Green Bay is Jordan Love going to be the issue. Well, I'm going to say be the issue. he's gonna be the key to point component of this. Make this thing go up, all the way up, or all the way down. That's what's gonna be the issue with Jordan Love. Like I said, Jordan Love got to stay off the injury list. So he gotta be I won't say he won't play mistake free football, but he gotta play like he did 2 years ago in the back end. I think he had like 20 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in the back end 2 years ago, and he looked really good. And then when he came to the playoffs and wiped the floor with Dallas, that's the Jordan Love they need to see in order to win this division or be right there with Detroit. Chicago's main issue is Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams put their minds together and work together. They gotta make sure it works, because Caleb can't be playing. I won't say he's gonna play playground football all the time, but Ben Johnson needs him to play on time. Basically, he need to do what Jared Goff do. If you don't see it, just throw it away. If you see a running lane, make sure you run out of bounds and slide. That's all he need to do. He can't throw the ball in coverages or 2 people over there, throw a deep ball and 2 other safeties all over it. He can't do none of that. What else I'm thinking of? I would say that's about it, that division. Detroit gets in. Could be a possibility Minnesota getting in. We'll see. AFC East, I got Eagles winning 10-5, and the Commanders being the second best team in the East. Dallas going to be the third best team. I don't think. Well, they might be the last. They might be the last team, depending on how the Giants work out Jackson Dart and Russell Wilson. It depends how Russell playing like Seattle or playing like what he did in Pittsburgh. But it's going to be an interesting issue. It's going to be interesting though, because let's say they lose 2 or 3 games, and they schedule is pretty tough. And let's say they schedule is tough, and they win, they rip off 3 or 4 in a row. And they 500. They going to pull Jackson Dart in or not? If it's not going to be case that Jackson Dart, you ain't going to probably see Jackson Dart towards the end of the year. If they playing high, let's just say they're going 8-9, 9-8, and they out the playoffs, I can see Jackson Dart play the last 2 games, maybe the last 3. Depends how far they out. AFC West, just like the North, depending on the 3 teams, the Rams going to win the division. Depends on the last 3 teams, they can make the playoff. Depending on the injury list and on the quarterbacks. Donald got a lot riding on. Kyler Murray got lots on the ride on too. And Brock Purdy kind of do too for my Niners, because they ain't got Debo no more, and the receivers got to step up. And like I said, the 49ers got hit with an injury bug the past couple of years, so that's mainly on them. So that's why I think on the division side, the Rams gonna win the division. The playoff teams, I think they're gonna make Philadelphia get a bye. Detroit is gonna be one. Tampa Bay gonna be another team, and the Rams. Those are the division winners. The last 3 teams are gonna be Minnesota and Washington. The last spot I can kind of see. It's gonna be a fight for the 7th spot. I kind of see like Seattle, Atlanta, Cardinals, and the 49ers get a spot, and maybe Green Bay and Chicago. You might got like 8 other teams fight for that last spot for the end of the year. I can see that. Then on the AFC side, I got the South Houston wins 10-7, and I got Jacksonville being a 500 team, at least 89, 98. They're gonna be somewhere around there. They're gonna be below. They're gonna be below 500 or under 500. Tennessee gonna be third place, and Indianapolis gonna be fourth. NFC East, I got Buffalo 13. I think I got Buffalo going 13-4 because they division. They gonna win most of their division games in the East. Cause I think they're gonna beat them. I think they're gonna split most of them. Detroit's gonna be not Detroit. New England's gonna be number 2 in the division right under Buffalo. Miami 3. And I can see and Jets gonna be last. The AFC North, I got Baltimore 12-5. Pittsburgh second. Cleveland, not Cleveland. 69, 98, 89, somewhere in that fishbowl. Cleveland depends on. They got a hard schedule too to begin of the season. Depends on the quarterback situation. Whoever plays well and whip off the most wins, that's who's going to be the starter the rest of the year. That's just my opinion on the Cleveland situation. It could be Shador. If Flacco don't whip off no wins, he's going to be the third emergency quarterback. It's going to be between Dillon and Shador playing out the rest of the season. Depends on one of them two. Depending on who plays well, and they got to rip off some wins. And not, you can see both of these two guys playing somewhere else. But I'm pulling for Shador, but we'll see. AFC West, I got Denver at 12-5, KC at 10-7, Chargers at 10-7, Raiders at 7-10. That division is like the AFC West in the North. You don't know who's gonna win that division because it's so tough. All three of them teams can possibly play the playoffs. I think the Raiders can get in the playoffs too because they got Geno and Pete. Pete will get them boys fired up, and plus I can see him getting off at least by 7 to 8 wins. So that's not highly possible. It could be possibly. For our playoff teams, I got Buffalo with a bye, Baltimore 2, Denver's 3, and Houston 4. Those the division winners. We got KC 5, Pittsburgh 6, and the Chargers 7. So I got 3 playoff teams coming from in the AFC West. That's what I'm thinking. In my Super Bowl winners, I could say I got Baltimore in the AFC and Philadelphia in the NFC. And I got both of them in the Super Bowl. And I got Philadelphia winning the Super Bowl. And I won't be surprised if Baltimore actually beat Super Bowl champions too. Other than that, those are my predictions on that. But I'm going to talk about tonight too. Philadelphia versus Dallas. I think it's going to be a 27-21 game or 28-21 Philadelphia. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a pretty good game. I think Barkley's going to have a pretty good game too. I don't think Dallas did enough to help out their run defense. And I won't be surprised that Saquon get at least over 100 yards rushing. Dak is going to probably pass over 200 yards. And CD going to get at least 3 or 4 catches that game too. But at the end of the day, I got Philadelphia winning the game. And tomorrow, I think they in Brazil. The Chargers and the Chargers in Kansas City. And I got Kansas City winning that game. Even though it's a neutral site in Brazil, I think it's going to be a good game too. But Dallas going to lose against the opener against the Eagles. I don't know if it's in Dallas or not, but I think it's going to be a real good game. A good opener for them. But other than that, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell sports fans to listen to my podcast. I did a long one, so I've been busy, so I gotta keep up a lot of stuff. So hopefully next week or hopefully I'm gonna try to get another one in. It's possible. Like I said, continue supporting TikTok. Try and work on the Instagram one. Got a YouTube page for audio. I did like 1-2 video versions. Continue listening on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, not Apple Music. And like and subscribe, tell your friends, and enjoy. Peace out.